Hello, Governor. This is Rakai Steve, new from the Ville. I'm here to talk to you about Doctor Who, Season 10, Episode 4, Knock Knock. But first, let me tell you a little story. My uncle had a problem with substance abuse. There probably wasn't a substance out there he ain't tried. And it just so happened that one day, while he was in the midst of his substance and addiction problems, he decided he needed some more money for some more substances. And he figured that he was going to get that money from my grandmother. Now, the thing is, my grandmother had long been enabling him because that was her baby boy, that was her youngest child. But he had been way past the need for help. He showed up to the house. He asked her for money. She said no. He demanded money. She said no. He threatened her. She said no. He put a weapon on her. Now, all of this time this is going on, my grandfather is listening because he had let his wife indulge their youngest son, and he hated it the entire time. But there's a quote that I love. I don't know who wrote it, but it's when God shows you it's time to let someone go and you refuse to accept it, God will allow that person to hurt you to the point where you have no choice but to let them go. And this was my grandfather. He allowed this to go on until it took a turn. Now, the thing is, my grandfather, he was old, senile, damn near blind. But when it came to this particular moment and threatening his wife, he became very lucid. And it didn't matter that that was his child, his baby boy. Because the man that stood in my grandfather's house, he didn't recognize him. We could barely recognize this crack monster who was standing here. So my grandfather got his old and very slow butt up out the chair. He didn't move very fast at any point, but he moved fast on this day. Went to the back room, got his pistol out, and let off 3 shots. Yang, yang, yang. My uncle ran out of that house so fast. You know, to this day, we don't know if my grandfather actually meant to shoot him, or if he meant to miss him, or he meant to shoot him and he's just so old and senile and a terrible ass shot that he missed all 3 shots. I don't know. Who knows? Who cares? Let's talk about it. Hello, Governor. This is Rakai Steve, new from the Ville, and we're here to talk about Doctor Who, Season 10, Episode 4, Knock Knock. Now, if you rock with me for any amount of time, you know that I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm going to try to keep this recap very, very short and move on to my personal quotes, or quotes that I like, my personal thoughts, and then we're out. Now, even though this is a doctor-centric episode, it really takes the focus on Bill. Bill and her 5 friends were looking for a place to live, but I mean, it's 6 of them. They're budget conscious, so they're looking for a place to live, all 6 of them together. Just so happens they looked at a few places. This older guy caught them coming out of one of the realty places, said, "Hey, I got a place." But when you first see this place, it is the creepiest mansion on the earth. And then when you see the dude, like, Everything is super creepy. Every vibe, every red flag, bells should be going off. Everything seems wrong. It struck me as a hell no. But anyway, they take the deal. The doctor was showing up because he was helping Bill move. He put all her stuff in the TARDIS and it moved it. The best moving truck ever. But then the landlord pops up and the doctor senses something is off. He starts asking dude a bunch of questions about who the prime minister is. He even mentions Harriet Jones. Dude don't know anything and he changed the subject. So the doctor says, yeah, I'm not leaving. What we find out is that one by one, Bill's friends start to disappear. And it turns out that there are some insect-like creatures, aliens, that are living within the walls. They are the walls, called dryads. And they are eating the people one by one. Now, by eating the people, this does something to give life to the landlords. There's another woman in the house, but she looks like she's completely made out of wood. It appears that it's his daughter. And he tells the doctor that he needs the dryads to keep his daughter alive. She's locked in the tower, the one place that he said that none of Bill and her friends could go. But at this point, the landlord done lost it, and he's like, you know what? The hell with all this. I'm gonna have the dryads eat all of y'all. They found a music box in what was the woman Eliza's room. When she comes out, the doctor figures out, wait a minute, this ain't your daughter. This is your mother. The mother got taken, she got sick. She got real sick. The landlord found the dryads. The dryads did whatever they did to kind of keep the mother alive, but they needed fresh hosts, fresh bodies the whole time. So he lured people into the house and had the dryads take them. And the thing was, he didn't know what to do because still at heart, even though he's an old man now, he was a little bitty boy when his mom passed or whatever. So at the end, he gets what's coming to him. Nasty work. Just nasty. The wall kind of spits out Bill's friends, and they're all able to get out of there before the house collapses on itself. When the doctor gets back to the university, you hear piano music coming out of the vault. The doctor takes over for Nardole, and he goes into the vault to have dinner with what or whoever is in there. Now, you know that I love my quotes, and I only have two today. One, I don't know who wrote this one. You have to let go of the ones who are refusing your help in order to have enough energy to save yourself. And the last one is by Mary Manine Morrissey. And she says, in order to be free, we must learn how to let go. Release the hurt. Release the fear. Refuse to entertain the old pain. And I'm going to call this Media Therapy Deep Dive, Refusal to Let Go. Now, I did another deep dive not that long ago covering Netflix's Forever series. It was episode 5, The Vineyard, and that one was about letting go. So even though I'm not going to retread the same stuff I talked about in that, but it may overlap a bit. Now, the refusal to let go, whether it's people, situations, or past hurts, often comes from the fear of the unknown. It can also come from just having a real attachment to film. It can also come from having a real attachment to familiarity or difficulty processing emotions like guilt, regret, or anger. Now, this usually manifests itself in holding on to relationships that are no longer healthy for you, dwelling on past mistakes, or struggling with grief and loss. In this particular episode, we see the landlord was a scared little boy at heart. He lost his mother. His mother got sick and he lost his mother. And to have that happen at such a young age, knowing they didn't mention in this episode what happened to his father, but it didn't seem like he was in the picture. So a child, hell, an adult would do anything to bring back a loved one. Now, I'm not talking about no scary Stephen King type, Pet Cemetery type stuff. No. But when that grief, that loss overtakes you, you would do anything to have that person back. So he made a deal with the devil. He met these alien insects that I don't know how they communicated. I don't know if they wrote notes down or he just understood them. But they found a way to keep giving life essence that they stole from other people to his mother. But his mother had turned. She was no longer his mother. She looked like a wooden statue. But he didn't care because he was able to keep her around. The thing about letting go, especially when you're dealing with grief and loss, is that you have to learn to let go. That's not our natural rhythm. And I don't know if that means talking to someone, including a licensed professional. Mental health is very important, and I recommend therapy for anybody who needs it. And I'm not saying everybody needs it, but I'm saying that everyone might be able to get something out of it. You have to be able to accept situations for what they are. That also means that you need to be able to move your focus to your present and to the future. It hurts you if you dwell on the past. The landlord couldn't let go of the past. He couldn't even see the present. He was harming, and as distraught as he was about his mother, losing his mother, he had no cares and never thought about all of the people that he was taking from someone else. Their pain didn't matter compared to his. And you also have to learn to practice acceptance. When you realize that something or someone is no longer serving you, you have to consciously choose to release it. Now, that can be a person, it can be a relationship, it can be a habit. Now, remember, when something not serves you, that could be because you part of the big back community, and really your habits are not serving you. Your situations that you put yourself in, and then to comfort you, you do something that is detrimental to you and your health. So yeah, most times when you think about letting go, you think about it being a person, but it's not always a person. It could be a relationship, even like your relationship with food. Or it could be habits that you have. And yes, I know, it is hard to change. Everything would be easy if everything was easy, right? But those things worth having, you have to go through something. That way you appreciate them that much more. It's hard to sometimes acknowledge the emotions that it takes to get you there. I've got a habit of visualizing positive outcomes, which is also sometimes hard to do, especially if you're locked in on the past. But if you really want to be focused on your present and the future, you have to visualize positive outcomes. I used to do an exercise with my students, say, tell me about your dreams, tell me about your wants. And they'd say, I want this car, I want this house. And I was like, okay, cool. So this car, what color is it? Red. Okay. What kind of seats it got? And they'd be like, huh? I don't know. Well, then, do you really want that car? Or is it just, tell me, what color are the seats? Is it leather? Is it cloth? What do you want? Is it a 2-seater? You want a 4-seater? You want a truck? You want a sound system in there? The windows tinted? You got nice wheels on it? You got sunroof? You got a spoiler on the back. You know, you got a tow hitch. Is it a 4-wheel drive? Is it lifted up? What do you want? I want a nice house. So do you got a chef's kitchen? You got two stoves, double sinks? You know, do you have a walk-in shower with the overhead shower and then the body jets to hit your body? What does your dreams look like? Don't tell me I want a mansion. What does it look like? Is it Mediterranean style, contemporary style, farmhouse style, storage container style? What do you want? I know it's hard, but in order to let go of the things that no longer serve you, you have to focus on positive outcomes. Where are you trying to go? It's hard to get there if you don't have a roadmap to get there. It's hard to say, I'm going here, and, well, what does here look like? Where are you going? You know, one of the hardest things to do is get out of your emotions, get out of your own way. And sometimes sadness, anger, fear, those will have a grip on you. And it's hard to get past them. And in your refusal to let go, sometimes that will be what you can't let go of. Those emotions. It sounds crazy. Why would you want to feel sad? Why would you want to feel resentment? Why would you want to wallow in fear and grief? But some people do. Because it's familiar. Being positive, letting that stuff go, going into the fear of the unknown. That's hard because I don't know what that comes with. If I lost someone close to me, if I've lost a relationship close to me, if food comforts me, if these things are things that I'm used to doing, how can I let them go? You know, you'll hear me say a lot of times, it is what it is. What does that really mean? It means understand, recognize the things that you have control over. A lot of things you don't have control over. But you can make change, positive change, if you take control over what you actually have the bandwidth to take control of. Because everything else is going to be what it is. You need to recognize the past is over and it can't be changed. What can be affected is your present. What can be changed is your future. But that's up to you, no one else. And last but not least, you know, I have a habit of when I wake up in the morning, I'll pray, meditate for a bit, and then say positive affirmations. Just things to get my mind moving in the right direction. Part of, if I'm visualizing I'm going way down the road, first thing I have to do is visualize from getting this point here to this point here. I have to travel this distance before I get way down the road. So sometimes you may have a goal that's a year off. Okay, we'll start with, what is your goal for today? What is your goal for this week? Let's start there. Try to find a way to declutter some things in your life. That might help. You know, the thing is, in this episode, the landlord couldn't let his mother go. And when his mother found out what he was doing, she kind of forced his hand. Because she never knew what he was doing to keep her alive. And I'm not even sure if she realized that that was her son after all these years, because last time she saw him, he was a little boy, not an old man. And she was ashamed of what he had done to keep her alive, how many people he had hurt. And he had taken all that pain that he had stored up and affected. He had been doing that for like 70 some years. all of the lives lost because of one person's pain. And that's the thing we don't realize, that your pain is not just about you, it affects everyone. And of course, a lot of times when you feel that kind of pain, you don't care about how everyone else feels. But imagine if someone was taken from you because someone else refused to deal with their pain. I know it hurts. It's gonna hurt. But you've got to let go. This is Rakai Steed, new from the Ville. Make sure that you share this as much as possible. Hit me well with a like. And leave me some comments. Are you able to let go? How do you focus on your present and your future? Leave some tips in here that some other people might be able to use. And if for some reason you haven't subscribed, hit the button, subscribe. Remember, it's all about this, but it's even more important, it's about this.